a.m. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and Bahamians. We have some things that we need to straighten out in this country. A whole lot of things are happening, and a lot of lies, hypocrisy, and deceit is being spewed out. You know, a general election is in the air, and all kind of wicked, unsound, not constitutionally sound things are being said, and people are going to give you a bag full of holes. And a lot of you are going to fall for it again if you are not understanding the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You must also understand that a party constitution is different from the national constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, how they run their little party, that's them. Ain't nothing to do with that. However they want to set it up, that's up to them. The Constitution allows you to have your political parties. So we're not getting into that. That's not important to me, you know. What is important to you as a citizen ought to be the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And Bahamas, you need to get that into your psyche. Because a lot of you still are hell-bent on colors of a particular political party. And you think the party is going to save you. The party can't save you. The party that may be in power. See, the difference is this. You have individuals who may be members of a political party. They get elected to the House of Assembly. They forget what their function is as a parliamentary representative. The senators are appointed, parliamentary representatives. The House of Assembly members are elected parliamentary representatives. But all of them are parliamentarians, Bahamian. That's what the Constitution says. Not their party constitution. And a lot of you just don't seem to get it. Because I listen to the talk shows all the time. I don't bother to call in anymore because it's too much foolishness and nonsense. So I say, you know something? Since I have my own show here, I will take time to help to educate and explain these things in simple, basic, fundamental language so the Bahamian people could understand. Because basically you have a lot of nonsense, a lot of foolishness, even the hosts of these shows. They themselves don't know the Constitution. See, that's the problem. That's a big problem, Bahamians. They just talking a pile of crap every single day. And some callers will call in. They mean well, and I appreciate those who call into this show. And the hosts of the show, not understanding how the country ought to function and work, spew out a lot of garbage, a lot of crap. And people begin to believe the foolishness and the nonsense from political parties. They will write all kind of foolishness and nonsense in these booklets and plan or whatever else they have. And they never fulfill them, Bahamians. You have one party out there now that has a long dissertation about what it wants to do, and that's the format they decide to take. I don't know how many Bahamians are going to read all of that, but I'm going to look specifically at one of their things, which they talk about governance. Because the things I've heard from the leader of that particular political party and others who follow that particular party and that particular individual, they want a different system, Bahamians. They didn't get no permission from the Bahamian people, you know. But they want to stamp something on this country that is completely foreign, that you know nothing about. And the very Constitution we have here today for the last 52 years, 99% of you don't even know it because The government of the Commonwealth of Bahamas never took the interest in causing you to understand it. It's their responsibility, you know. It's the responsibility of those governing the country. Well, when the people who govern the place don't know it, what do you expect? That's why we all this confusion, Bahamians. See, I didn't wait on them. When I went to see an attorney in 1971, when I was setting up my association, I wanted to get some advice from that particular attorney. When I came out of his office, you know what came to my mind? You need to know the law for yourself. Then I said to myself, well, we got all kinds of law around here. Real estate law, marital law, criminal law, all kinds of different laws. But I say they're statute laws. I didn't understand it to that point in 1971. But I came to see we got all kinds of statute laws. And nothing necessarily wrong with statute law. But I need something stronger than that, Bahamians. When I came to see that the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is the supreme law, bang, the light went on in my head. And I never deviated from it. And I took constitutional law very, very seriously. So I could analyze any piece of crap that comes out of the House of Assembly, go to the Senate, go to the Governor General, and sign it into law, because that's what they've been doing, you know, for 52 years, Bahamians. Information that is not constitutionally sound, and you sat right there allowing them to do it to us because you don't know the Constitution. That's our big problem right now. And you had some citizens who decided to get together and they're going to take action. And they have taken action. They started the ball rolling. And yet plenty of you out there are still in the dark. Is that deliberate or intentional? I don't think so. You just don't know. You are so blinded by colors, this color and that color. The very same people who you gave the power to run this country are the same people who mess you up. You understand that, Bahamians? Now you have people all over the talk shows talking that, how they've been jacked up by the very same people they gave the power to do their national affairs, their constituency affairs. Now they're beginning to see that. The problem with that is, what is the solution? What then do the Bahamian people do? And of course, I was hearing talk about women in politics. I'm going to deal with that today also, from a biblical and constitutional point of view. The thing is that maybe some women are not prepared to take the kind of crap that people talk all the time. And they say politics is dirty. You mean to tell me if you want to be a parliamentarian in the House of Assembly, are you saying that is dirty? I don't see it in the Constitution. Now, you have some people with bad minds, carnal nature. Now, if you were to tell me that, I could say, okay, I could understand that. Both men and women have carnal nature. It is just that the enemy uses the males more aggressively than the females. And that's why the woman would say, this is a man's world. Because that's how it was painted to her. It is a man's world. Because generally speaking, you will see from the beginning, from 1729, the House of Assembly was dominated by males. But now in recent times, you ain't sure the heck who is male and who is female. Do you understand that, Bahamians? Because some people got a smart idea to say, I'm a female last night, but this morning I'm a male. What kind of crap is that? So, Bahamians, you got to look deeper now. all kind of lies, hypocrisy, deception. You think you voting for a man, then you come to find out that ain't no woman, or that is no man. That's something different, Bahamians. We got a section in the Constitution which says any woman. Someone may challenge that very soon, purporting to be a woman. But we know what the Constitution meant by woman. It talks about no man, woman, or child. The Constitution must clearly define, and Bahamians, we're going to have a referendum to get this done, you know. The Constitution must clearly define what is man, what is woman, and what is child. The world has changed. All kind of crappy things. One purporting to be a woman. And I ain't no woman. So they're looking all over the place. But it's actually a male. And then the opposite is also true. They're looking for a female purporting to be a man. You see how mixed up society is now? So, Bahamians, you got to be very careful who you send to do your national business. Is that a lesbian? Is that a homosexual? Is that a person who participates in bestiality? Bahamians, we got so much crap going on out there. You got to know who you're dealing with, because the person in front of you, you think that's a male or man, ain't no man. You got to look at the character of people, Bahamians. You got to ask some very tough, rough questions. If they can't take the heat, tough titty for them, that means you ain't supposed to be dealing with them. They talk about their private life. It's their private life, well, then you keep your friggin' private life. But they want to come out into public with all this crap on them and expect you to accept them as they are. Well, the answer is no. Because when I check the Constitution, there is a specific format that we ought to be doing in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, how we ought to govern this place. We need real male and female people in the House of Assembly, Bahamians. We have no wash-up, mix-up people. But you look and you say, well, look like a male, but he ain't no male. Bahamians, you got some people out there who come up with all kind of funny things. We just adopting all the crap. They coming at the children in the schools, Bahamians, the children in your family, the children in your community. I got some great grandnieces and nephews. And I think about them all the time, and I wonder about mommy and daddy, what kind of coverage they can give them. Because, see, I had all kind of coverage from my mother and father. They shielded 12 children, 9 of their own and 3 grandchildren, very effectively. That's why I can appreciate about family. But many parents today are not doing that. They're so busy with other things, they leave the children just all over the place. And people come, some funny people come along, grab your son, grab your daughter. And then we look, your son say, he's trapped. He's a female trapped in a male body. Any crap like that? That's what they're saying now. They get trapped. Then the girl come along and say, she's a male, but trapped in a female body. Any crap like this? But it's the kind of nonsense that's going on now, Bahamians. And guess what? They come right into the House of Assembly and the Senate. Because that kind of wicked, moral, well, I won't even call that moral, immoral behavior, we cannot be a nation under God with that kind of crap. And you got them kind of people running things for you. Their mind all twisted up. They ain't thinking straight. They want to live like that, then let them stay right there in their privacy of their own house, their own bedroom. But you can't come into public with this kind of foolishness and expect people to accept it. The answer is no, Bahamians. Plenty of them right now who are in the Senate and in the House know nothing about the Constitution. They are party personalities sitting in parliamentary seats. That's all they are. They're carrying water for the party. And you got to understand there's a vast difference between a political party and the government of the Bahamas. All you end up doing is giving a bunch of perverted people real governing authority who care nothing about you. That's what we've been doing for 52 years. It wasn't always that way, you know. You had people who came in the first time, 73, good intentions. How long did it last? Very, very brief period. Then it just fade out as we keep moving further and further away from God, away from the scriptures, away from the word of God. That's what you have. Even in the church, there are some things we don't want to discuss. We don't want to talk about it. And some of these so-called godly women have such a tight grip over their male counterparts. I tell you what I know. I'm telling you what I hear somebody say. I tell you what I know, Bahamians. But they say they're godly women. And I would ask them one question. Do you call your husband Lord? Lord Michael? Lord Barry? Do you do that? And not one of those women do it. Not a living one. But they say they are godly women. How much respect do they show their husbands? Little to nothing. But they say they're godly women. I say, are you a daughter of Sarah? They're not daughters of Sarah. They're big pretenders. That's all they are. They fight their husbands. They don't respect no husband. And some of them so wicked, they don't even carry their husband's name. Do you understand that, Bahamians? You talk about you married a man. Scripture says you are one. When Adam and Eve were created, God said he called their name Adam, Mr. and Mrs. Adam. Male and female come together, husband and wife. And the scriptures say they were both naked and they were not ashamed. But after they did some foolishness and nonsense, they got ashamed. Say they won't hide. And you know that shame come right down today. I heard Dr. David Allen talking about shame, and he's correct. That's when people fail to admit when they go wrong. That's the problem with the government of the Bahamas. Have you ever heard them say they were wrong on anything? Check the record for 52 years, Bahamian. Check it. And see if any administration has ever admitted to the Bahamian people they messed up the Bahamian people and asked the Bahamian people to forgive them. You think they ever did that? They never did it. But yet they say they want power and keep messing up the country, keep messing up the people for the last 52 years. Come on, Bahamians, we got to do better than this. It's only at its worst now because what has happened over the last 52 years, the problems keep piling up, piling up, piling up, piling up. We got all kinds of new problems. And the government of the Commonwealth of Bahamas doesn't know their head from their foot when it comes to these issues. That's why I say you got to help them. If you do not help the government of the Bahamas to get it right, Bahamas, we're going to be in big trouble. We're in plenty of trouble right now. I believe we got a call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor, how are you?
Hey, man, what you say?
Good. Thank you very much. It's all a follow-up from yesterday when I called your show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You played
The
and congratulate the lady from Trinidad.
Trinidad
So
and
well and
yeah.
good.
That was appropriate at that time.
Absolutely. It's always appropriate. And then I called and I spoke about Donald Trump.
Yes, you did, yeah.
And basically the same thing you're talking about today.
Yes.
Different jobs.
I think you're fading out, call. I hope you don't fade out again today. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm
yeah,
here.
Okay, because you sort of dropped. I don't know if the call dropped or what, but for a few seconds you were not,
right now?
Okay, start over again.
I'll keep my voice up, and I move so I can get a good reception, because sometimes I sit in a place in the dark.
Okay.
But I'm in a good area right now.
Okay, but that's fine. Yeah, okay.
So, your topic is very interesting. Yeah, as I see it now.
I thought to bring it up because there's a lot of crap, and I listened to the shows. I decided not to call them. I don't bother to call them anymore because the talk show hosts don't know what they're doing. You can't even educate the Bahamian people about the Constitution to help them to see differently, to help them to do better. The people want solutions, Even the Speaker of the House Assembly said the people want solutions. She talk about the people's house. But what are you getting? Bunch of rowing, people carrying on bad?
Professor, we are just learning right now that you.
I think Mr. Bluesy is fading out. I don't know. Mr. Caller, you're fading out. I'm not hearing you clearly. You come up and then you fade out.
Am I okay now?
Yeah, but hopefully you could stay okay because you keep fading out and I am missing what you're saying.
I move.
Start over from the beginning.
We are just learning now in 2025. There's no debate what a man is and what a woman is.
Okay.
Because them LGBT people were trying to confuse us with their weirdness.
That is why. That is why I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes.
That is why I am saying the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas must have an amendment to it where we define what man is, what woman is, and what child is.
Nope. Exactly. Now, I almost let in the wrong cat. But this is it, Professor. That's what I call you, so we can be precise and correct on all of our dealings.
Yes.
And that's why, I don't know why this government keep running away from freedom of information, which means that we could take the government to court based on lies. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow what you're saying. Yes, you can do that. Yes,
but they could say anything in the House of Assembly and not be brought up on it.
Yes.
They have impacted our country's population with another group of people, and no one is to blame for it. No one can be blamed for it. Is that right? I don't think it is.
But let's put it this way. There is a way the government ought to function.
Yes.
When the government fails to function constitutionally, and they are not functioning constitutionally in this country, for 52 years, they have violated the Constitution. Okay?
Yes.
Let's be straight about that.
This topic is all about. What you're talking about right now, I think I'm gathering, is that we need precision, I guess that's the word, or preciseness in our dealings.
Of course.
And if you're going to keep it under wraps and confused, you have to argue to people who have invaded your country illegally.
Does that make any sense? People who invaded the country.
I don't read it all. Philip Brave Davis himself. Sorry, I don't know if I could call his name out like that because, we living inside this
As
weird.
long as the information caller is in the public domain,
Exactly.
you can call his name.
But you have
can call
explained
what
that
he
to me
said.
now.
Pardon?
That's how confused we are that you have to explain it to me. And when your show's over, Martin comes on every day and say, whatever discussed just now is not from the, from the management.
Yeah, they put the disclaimer on.
They made us took jobs under Dr. Minnis, who took his picture of him doing it too, which
Okay.
I strongly advise you Bahamian people that he didn't. But if he did, well, I'll never be able to prove that because we don't have a Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
We would have known if that man had taken the job right to this day.
Oh, I get what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah,
Oh, I'm
there's
sorry.
been a lot of controversy over that.
Yes.
Yes. I think he dropped again. I don't know.
That's the only way, Professor.
Yeah, you just dropped a couple. I missed what you said. I mean,
I'm sorry, man. Maybe I'm going too fast sometimes.
yeah. No, but I mean the call dropped.
Oh my God, I didn't move.
Yeah, but it dropped, and a part of your conversation I didn't hear it, so I'm not hearing you clearly, and you're
My
dropping. You see, so see if you could correct that.
I'm going into another room. Because the reason why I do this is because I have to get away from the phone. I have to turn down my call. You see.
Yes.
Are you getting me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sir. This confusion. God is not a God of confusion.
No, he's not.
And that's one of the biggest problems in the world today, because the devil will send all kind of information to us.
Yes.
You said the lady should call her gentleman, sir.
Lord.
Or Lord, son.
Lord, whatever his name is. And the Christian women don't do that.
No, they don't do it. It's almost an insult. Let me tell you something last night. 9 o'clock or something last night.
Yes.
I was out with my lady in her car. She was driving.
Okay.
She became so annoying to me, I asked her to stop the car. I'm going back home.
Okay.
You don't have to turn around. That happened 3 times. I saw that coming on me. I saw that spirit in her. I saw a spirit in me. And I told her to a block away. Just stop. I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this. I'm going to walk back home. And I'm wearing slippers now, short ones.
Okay.
The second time it happened, we a couple of well blocks away from us.
Yes.
The third time it happened, I opened the door when she slowed down.
Yes.
Sir, this is what we're going through with these crazy women today.
Yes.
And I hope she's listening. If she's not listening, I'm going to play this for her. Nothing but, what's the word? A perfect state that we're supposed to be living in.
Yes.
And you call it the Constitution for every country.
Yes.
But when we start to move away from that, we have confusion.
Yes, you do.
And that's what I went through last night, sir. And I had a conversation with you last night. Well, I think I talked to you straight on the way back. I'm going to tell Professor this tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
And the minute I woke up today, you were talking about women and their positions and the respect.
Yes.
Man, these women are so out of control today.
They are controlling freaks. Too many females are that way.
Yes,
I
sir.
see it right in my own family.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
And guess what? That's the only problem, you know. The woman is trying to say God is female.
Never was. And never
Never
will
was,
be.
never will be, can't be.
Can't
Impossible.
be. Impossible.
At the age of 12 or something like that, you see the difference between male and female.
Yes.
God showed you his dominating strength. And God showed you that women should be our what's it called, helpmates.
Well, that's what he designed them to be.
That's what you got to be. What's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it.
But they don't want to be that. They want to be something else.
They want want to be LGBTQ.
All kind of crap.
should be in there too.
Yes. All
They
kind of
want to
crap.
be something that, and it's confusing, sir.
It is very confusing.
And
Yes. I think he might have dropped again. I don't know. Carly, you keep dropping. I don't know. You gotta.
but no, Professor, that's the devil blocking me out because I didn't move. No,
I don't know, boy, but
that wasn't me. But I appreciate the time because I
Yes.
think I'm taking too much of your time.
No, but I want you to finish your point as quickly as you
Okay,
can.
so
Yeah.
the point I called in today is that is it that since we have too many women in leadership, like the Trinidadian woman, like the head of the police over here,
Yes.
like the governor general,
Yes.
and you keep going on. All we're trying to do is appease women when we are supposed to be in every male supposed to be in leadership on every, and I'm not backing down.
I'm not
Be a
hearing you.
man sitting there
Yeah.
because we've tried this. They call it in America DU. I forget. Some kind of giving example. Give the what do you call it? The minority a chance,
Yes.
and they pick you by quota. And because
I
you're
noticed they
black
do that
and
over
you're
there.
female, you got the job,
Yes.
right? And what's happening is it is not working. The kids are killing more
Yeah.
than
Too much
ever.
of that.
The young boys are prancing their motorbikes out of control.
It's right here in the bombs.
Yes, you're still there, Professor?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
In the church, the girls can basically start twerking. Their dance stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
But I'm supporting the young ladies. They're looking for something, and I swear to God, I support them. But when the older ladies allow their teenage daughters to come in church half naked these
Yes.
days, and you speak out against it, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, something is wrong with you, according to them. Yeah.
You see, so I'm all about this male leadership. And my dad had a church the other day, like Miss Scott I was telling you about.
Yes.
But the biggest leader in the church was a man named Deacon Virgil.
Yes.
This man was an old sailor, man.
Okay.
I think he died with his sailor cap, that captain cap on.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You
Yes.
get a picture, right? He was so proud of that because he was always ship shape. His pants would be creased. His shoes would be shine. Everything is in perfect shape.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he used to love me. I mean, I'm the least lover of my family, but he used to love me, and he always called me, Stephen, you must do it like this, you must do that. So when he died the other day, I went to some kind of one of our church reunions,
Yes.
and I brought up his name, and they said, boy, we hated that old man.
Yeah. Now, Caller, I gotta go. I gotta
Yes,
go to a break.
thank you very much. But we have to stay ship, go back to the old landmark.
We have to. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We're on an interesting topic today on Bahamians. We got to get it right once and for all. 52 years of this foolishness and this nonsense. We got to stop it. This is Professor Sidney McGarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Calling all veterinarians, pet lovers, and animal care professionals. Join DLEAP
women supporting him because women have been in my life from day one with my mother. And of course, I've had some women who work with me professionally, and they are women of character. See, the woman was designed to help the man. That's what God's purpose is. And that ain't changing at no time soon. Now, the men are to be responsible because God made the man the head. Okay? The head of the woman is the man, lock, stock, and barrel. Now, that doesn't mean that women cannot have leading roles in the society. Don't misunderstand that, because women play a major role in the society. But when the devil get in them and they disrespect their husbands, like some women do, and call the father no good, and the boys don't know who daddy is, and that kind of thing, that's problem. That's a big problem, Bahamians. That's going on right now as I speak to you. And it's tearing the society apart. I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Everything good? And good afternoon, the guests. Good afternoon, Bahamas. Professor,
Yes,
I
sir.
had this and think why I stand on Article 24:1. You know what we guy watch?
Oh,
We
yeah.
really guy watch people who put people inside the Senate to weaken the Senate.
Yes.
And I keep on saying it like a Scotch record. Why they put people inside the Senate who don't know nothing about our Constitution? And Professor, I can say why I say that. They put you inside the Senate, right? Like how one time ago we used to have no lawyers in there. And when they talk, Professor, you could take whatever they say and you could put it up in the newspaper and put it up in law. That's law. But these set of people, and Professor, I can give you an example why I say they weaken the Senate. The National Intelligence Branch, tell me I lie it. Because listen here, when I get a national, and I use national insurance, I just using like I use the church, I use national insurance form, right? I use national insurance form.
Okay.
When they say, what is your gender? That ain't mean a person. That's not a person. That means you are male or you are female. And you will see these people in the house, these people going to law, going to make a person what is not a person, a human being. So these people don't know the Constitution. They don't know nothing but the Bible. How you can make our non-person a person? Gender's not a person. No matter what school you went to. But best I can say that someone my pastor gave me this a joke. Say the white man didn't say, just get anything, any foolishness, and put a big name on it, and black people will make it a law. I say, you can't be laughing at our people like that. Gender is not a person. Gender on the form say, when you see gender, you say, I'm a male or I'm a female. That's not a person. And you could have educated people say they can make law. Professor, what is going on? That's the weakness of the system. You put them in the Senate and they're stupid. How you can make a non-person a human being? Gender's not a person. That's the adjective that people say. Let's see how stupid he could be. That's not a person. When you say gender, you're talking male or female. You ain't talking a person. If a man dress up like a woman, that's a man dressing up like a woman. If a woman want to dress up like a man, that's a woman dressing up like a man. It's simple things. Let's get on that one. But let's put this chapter in there. Deuteronomy chapter 17. I don't know why God put that in the Bible, but he put that there for a reason. You all have a blessed day.
Caller, you are so right on that point. God even tells you in the scripture that a man should not wear the clothes pertaining to a woman, and the woman should not wear clothes pertaining to the man. They're so wicked today, they want to change the sex and turn a female into a male and turn a male into a female. This is the kind of wickedness we have in the society. And they were telling you that they were not going after your children. That's what they're going after, Bahamians. Because when you take away that which is natural, what God set in motion, you may decide later on in your life to have children. You can't have any because you had a sex change. Say now use woman. You cut your things out and you got a false vagina. And the woman got a false penis. And see, Bahamian, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, where we get this crap from? God knew thousands of years ago that this kind of crap was coming up in 2025. But guess what? It's destined to get worse because we're not fighting it, Bahamians. We're just going along with the flow. It started off small and then they just keep encroaching. And now the day is at its worst state, but it's destined to get even worse if we don't repent, Bahamians. We got to repent of this foolishness. You have never seen any administration in this country admit that they were wrong. They keep saying we didn't do nothing wrong, but Bahamians have been doing wrong for 52 years. Straight across the board. I'm talking foolishness about they did nothing wrong. You want me to go through the list of wrong things the government has done for the last 52 years? I could do that, because we have the record. And you could get the record too. Be very careful of people who will tell you they never did anything wrong. They're very dangerous people. And they could be very wicked people. But you got them running the place. And then you expect things to be better? It can't get better, Bahamians. Because scripture says when the righteous are in authority, you got to give righteous people the chance to run this place, Bahamians. Proverbs 29:2. So when you can do it? You could do it today, You think you got to wait for an election? You got to wait for no election. The Bahamian people can move in on a group that may be running the country, doing foolishness and doing nonsense. They could stop it today. Are we ready for that? You think the Bahamian people are ready for that? To move in on an administration in a very serious way, like we've never done before, because it hasn't happened in this country. We've been taking crap for 52 years. From those who were given the authority to run this place, and they mess it up. That's why we have all kinds of problems, and people are complaining all over the radio station. All you hear is complaints. But they ain't got no solution, Bahamians. They talk more foolishness and more nonsense than ever before. And it's just getting worse because we're not thinking, Bahamians. We have to do better than that. That's why you have a constitution, how the country ought to be run. And you got to get to understand, if you're going to elect people who belong to political parties, and what we have done over 52 years is given that political party a massive landslide of seats. It has never worked to our advantage in 52 years. Now, there's another party that say they want a chance. Give them a chance. And that particular party wants to change the entire structure of the Constitution and bring in something that is strange and foreign to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The people hardly know what we got now. And they want to come up with a different kind of system, what they call a republic. You look at what's happening in the United States now, you think President Donald Trump can be tied up in lawsuits for the rest of his time. And people are already complaining the first 100 days, how he's jacked up the economy of the United States. And he himself said, this is the best. He's saying this is the best. Others are saying he jacked up the place. So which is it, Bahamians? Is it true or false? Is what Donald Trump is saying true? Is what the others are saying true? You got to know, Bahamians. See, in our country, you have to know whether the government of the Bahamas has jacked up the place for 52 years. Is it true, yes or no? We got to stop playing games, because you live in these constituencies and you can't even tell me, say, Professor, These are the major constituency problems that have been solved in our constituency over the last 52 years. You can't even answer a simple question. So that tells me a lot about how you're thinking or how you've been led to think. You're not even questioning your representatives. You're not even questioning your government. You just roll right over and let them throw all this crap on top of you. Bahamians, it is high time we question those who have been given authority to run this place. Ask them where you're taking us. Is it constitutionally sound? Yes or no? You have to know whether it is, Bahamians. And this particular entity has wrote a whole dissertation on a whole lot of things. And they have a right to do that because they're a political body. Now, whether Bahamians will read all of that, what they wrote, that's another kettle of fish again. Bahamians, it is important that you need to know your Constitution and you need to know your Holy Bible. Those are the two instruments you're going to need to turn this place right side up. Anything less than that, you don't want God's advice, fine. God say, okay, you go and do your thing. You'll have a broke up country. Far worse than what it is now. He'll let you go that way. See what happened in Sudan. See what happened in the Middle East with the Israelis and the Palestinians. See what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Even in Romania. The women in Romania, they're trying to establish a democracy in Romania. And people are preventing them from having elections. You hear any crap like that? Cancel the elections. Just cancel it. No, we ain't have no election. We have a dictatorship. Those Russians have never forgotten they had the whole of Eastern Europe red as red could be. They want it back, Bahamians. But those are independent nations now. And they're struggling just to get a few of the things we have in abundance here in our democracy. They don't have it there. They're struggling just to go to the polls to vote, Bahamians. We have it in abundance here, and some of you don't even go and participate in the parliamentary system. You talk about politics dirty. Is being a parliamentary representative dirty? Nothing dirty about that. Now, people do some things that are not constitutionally sound. That is dirty. Anything that violates the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas by the government of the Bahamas, that's dirty. And there are violations, Bahamian, very serious violations to the Constitution. That's why a group of citizens decided to take action against the government. And we are appealing to Justice Ian Winder, who is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, to deal with this case urgently. And I'm calling on you to call the Supreme Court and let us put pressure on the Supreme Court to hear this case, Bahamians. We got to hear it. It has to be brought to light. It's a very serious matter. This business about citizenship and immigration, illegal immigration and citizenship, that is the biggest problem facing the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Everything hinges on that. The country either stands or falls. And the way the country is going now, we're falling. We got to stop them, Bahamians. That's what we have to do. We have to stop the governor of the Bahamas from destroying the place. Because they're head over heels, giving out citizenship or scraps of paper. That's what they are. Say naturalization certificates. But we say we got a court, we got a judiciary. So we say in judiciary, well, hear our case then. Let's not leave this thing hanging until the whole place is destroyed. Because Bahamians, that's the kind of predicament we're in. And these fellas are hell bent on adding more and more and more and more and more. Callers, stay right on the line. Don't go nowhere. We have to stop it, Bahamians. Because it is not constitutionally sound. It's not constitutionally sound. So when a government violates the Constitution, you have to take that very seriously. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Professor, sorry to take you off topic, but I just was calling to talk about Dr. Darfo's interview on the radio yesterday when they were talking about the Ghanaian nurses and why they had to go to Ghana.
No, you could talk that. We have that in the queue. But you could go
Because
ahead and
I don't know but if you listen to that interview very carefully,
yes,
Dr. Garber almost said that it seems as if these nurses that they have not hired are like, well, he said that basically the hospital always, he almost said reject, and then he caught himself and he said the bad end of the stick.
yes.
And I find it so strange that 2 years you all cannot get security vetting for Bahamian nurses, and within months you can get vetting for Ghanaians.
Maybe in a couple of days. Not months. Couple of days.
It is ridiculous what's going on in this country.
It is ridiculous,
We are
yes,
being
ma'am.
pushed further and further and further down the totem pole.
I have been warning the Bahamian people from the time I came on the radio. Listen to what the government says and watch what they do. That's why we get these sound bites.
Yeah,
So you could hear it for yourself.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to do union busting. I mean, they go into India and the Philippines.
Yes, I heard that, yes. I heard that.
I'll hang up on
So-
you and let you finish talk.
Yeah, I appreciate you brought it up, but we're gonna put it. We got my producers putting the thing in the queue so we could talk about it. But no, but you on target. We have that included in the show for today.
Like
and
he
I
went to say reject, and he caught himself just in time when he said the bad end of the stick. Listen to
Yes.
it carefully.
Yeah. Oh, I'll listen to it carefully. Yeah. I
Okay,
certainly
thank
will.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much. See, Bahamians, we have to understand the Constitution of this country is being violated, has been violated for 52 years. You got to face the harsh reality of what the people you send to do your national business has done to us. It can't be no we this, we that. No, it's them, those who have the power. And they sign all kind of funny agreements. You don't know what they are, Bahamians. They ain't discussing nothing with me. My representative ain't discussing nothing with me. Every time I hear about something, I hear this is coming up. When I listen, it's in the House of Assembly. When I listen, they don't pass it. No input from the people. No input from the constituents. That's the way they do things, Bahamians. That is not constitutionally sound. When we gonna wake up to that? That's dictatorial tendencies. And now they're so hell bent on doing it. That's why I am saying to you, you got to help your government. Because if we don't step in and do something about it, you ain't gonna have no country. Everything will break right up. And you wouldn't want to see the end result of this place, Bahamian. So we have to wake up and realize what is going on in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and take appropriate action. We have to do that. We can save the place, you know. We have a constitution. We can use our constitutional rights, constitutional freedoms, constitutional privileges. They can't stop you from doing that, Bahamians. You could put them out today if you want to. Are you ready for that, Bahamians? Are you ready to do some unusual constitutional action? Because I can tell you right now, we may very well have to do that. Because some people are stubborn, more stubborn than a mule. Their head is hard like rock, man. So you have to take some very severe action, Damien. And the matter before the court is just one area, just one, that we can utilize. There's some other things we could do too, you know. You thought that was the only one. You stay right there. You need to know your Constitution, Article 24:1. And you sitting right here talking foolishness and nonsense. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return. (92310). Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This, I get out of here. Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Bahamians, there's so many things happening in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And it's important that we do our part as faithful, loyal citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we're going to have to help the government, you know. We're going to have to give them a good spanking, a good whipping, because they're doing foolishness and nonsense. And it's important that you make sure that you have a role to play. That is very, very important. Let me just read this case number that is before the Supreme Court. Let's see, the number being 2024/PUB/CON/00004. Let me repeat that again. And Bahamians, please write this down. So when you call the Supreme Court, you want to see if you could get a word to Mr. Ian Winder. He is Sir Ian Winder, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. 2024/PUB/CON/00004. That is the case number. They'll ask you for that, and then, you know, the case should come up. This is April, this is the end of April. Either May, hopefully it will be in May now, so we get this thing over with one time and for all. Because Bahamians, the very survival of the country depends on it. We got a very serious illegal immigration problem in this country. You hear any about mass deportations anywhere? You see the government of the Bahamas rounding up these illegal aliens in this country? Do you see that happening? Donald Trump is doing that in the United States. Countries in Europe are doing it. We ain't doing it here. We see all kinds of strangers and foreigners and aliens and outsiders marching up and down in this place. And citizens not only from Haiti, but from other places talking about they want to be naturalized. What kind of crap is this? The government of the Bahamas has no legal constitutional authority to naturalize anybody. The Constitution doesn't support it. It's just as simple as that. So what they're doing is illegal and it's unconstitutional. That is why the team took action to take them to court. That's why we asked the court, say, please look at this. This ain't no play thing, Bahamians. Your very life is in the line. My life is online. The future of the country is online. But this crappy foolishness and nonsense. Handing out citizenship, scraps of paper, that's what they are. But there's no citizenship. The very document they're using died on the day it was supposed to come into effect. July the 10th, 1973. Do you know that? It never went to the Bahamian people to ratify it, Bahamians. That's the problem with that document. And no attorney general has ever admitted to it yet. But giving bad advice to the government of Bahamas and tell them, like this one we got now, I'm being sure whether he's Bahamian or American. We don't know that, Bahamians. Where's the proof? You know, one other fellow say he's something else. And this one, we know we had problems with him before. But he's sitting up talking about, well, the man that gave him the post of Attorney General. Let me make sure I put that straight. But he tells the people, you could use ordinary legislation to change constitutional law. Yeah, any crap like that? It's coming from a man who's Attorney General. Talking foolishness and nonsense. And the country sits right there and allow him to talk this crap to the Bahamian people. We have to do something about that, Bahamians. That's why we're in the predicament we're in now. Because of that kind of foolishness. Mr. Producer, I can let you play that tape now. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Letters, we need our money. We need our letters, we need our money. We need our letters, we need our money. We need our letters, we need our money.
name is Ebony Young, and just like my counterparts, we have been engaged from 2023. It's disheartening to go to school for 5 years, to turn around, to sit a licensure exam, and then every month you call the Ministry of Health, you call public service, and they're saying, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But now the foreign nurses are here. It's a slap in our face. We at the clinics every day. We working. Sometimes we leading. How could you lead? Where is the letter? Where is our monies? All we want is what is due to us. That's it. We don't want anything else. I want to know that I'm secured in my job. That's it. I have a daughter to take care of. I have other responsibilities, and you can't do it if you're not getting your full salary. You working every day, 40 hours. Come on. Please, don't forget about us. We are here. We are here. They're saying the nurses leaving. We here. We graduated in 2023. We didn't go abroad. We are here. We want to serve the Bahamian people. Please don't forget us.
Bahamians, you heard what the nurses have said. Very clear, very precise. They want their letters and they want their money. That means they haven't been paid. For a couple of years now, they've been working. What is the government of the Bahamas doing, or specifically the Ministry of Health and Wellness? Well, that's what they say. You can't be well if you're not getting what is rightfully due to you. You know, the Constitution says, no man, woman, or child shall ever have their lives frustrated by deprivation. Do you know that's what's happening? I believe we have Brother Hyler on Streamline. Brother Hyler, you there?
Hi, good day, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We just
I am.
played. Yeah, okay. Let me just make this comment before you continue. We heard from the nurses, and they're saying they want their money and they want their letters. I guess letters of appointment for their jobs. Now, of course, we will hear another table. We'll deal with that side of it. But I just want to deal with this side right now first before we go to the next side. There is a complaint by the nurses that they haven't been paid. What do you say to that, Brother Hyler?
Well, it's sad that it has come to this. We're talking about 2 years. And, I watched that original broadcast. And what was interesting to me, the present leader of the Nurses Union, President Lightbourne, she said she came across a letter 20 years old. This is going back a few presidents. I just wanted to bring this forward. She said in this letter, it was the same situation in 2005. The same practice has been going on across 4 different administrations. So this is how long the nurses, as well as other public servants, have been treated in this manner. It's difficult to become permanent. It's difficult to become pensionable. It's difficult to take your documents to a bank if you need the services of a bank. And at the same time, as the nurses described, they did the training, they sat the courses necessary for their certification, and now they haven't been paid. And let me just address quickly, Professor, that the Minister of the Public Service, Ms. Pia Glover, did respond by saying that
there's hold a point there. We're gonna play the response and we're gonna get to that. But I just want to deal.
We could wait on that. Yeah, I could wait on that.
No, you could wait on that. I want you to comment on that as well. But I want to take it one step at a time. Let's deal with the nurses and their situation. How long this been going on for?
Professor, like they said, how do you pay your bills? They are
Yes.
on half pay.
Yes.
They've been on half pay for 2 years. How do you now pay your bills? This is what they're saying. How do you pay your bills? You have children. Some have been evicted from where they were living.
Yes.
Some are having to work with their light disconnected. So this is the type of thing that is causing persons to decide to leave the country even. It is a
Okay.
discouraging condition to work under, and it causes the working morale to be low. So I think it's bad that we haven't heard that they've been paid, and now we understanding that the Ghanaian nurses, we're glad for assistance, but now they have been paid 3 months in advance.
No, we're going to come to that, Brother Hyla. I don't want to get to that right now because we can listen to the remark made by the minister. And then we can deal with all of that on that side of it. But I just want to deal at this point now with the nurses.
Yeah.
The
Professor,
Bahamian nurses. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the nurses are being treated poorly, and we're
Okay.
hearing that the economy is booming. The numbers are up. We are taking record amounts of income is coming
Okay.
in to the government. I don't
Okay.
understand.
I don't understand it either. If they're getting records income coming into the treasury, well, then they should be able to pay their bills or pay the people who they owe money to, shouldn't they?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'll ask the producer, Mr. Producer, please play the tape from the reported response from the Minister of Pia Global Rule.
Where the president expressed, we just had our quarterly meeting where the president expressed gratitude for the work that we're doing in public service. I think there were 12 outstanding letters, 10 of which on the day of that small protest were already in the Ministry of Health, that I understand they were issued the following day. And 2 are currently in the commission that will be addressed on Thursday when they have their meeting. So the matters are being addressed actively. The nurses president comes to the Ministry of Public Service on a weekly basis and gets updates.
That doesn't say anything, Mr. Hyla, because you could know I live on North Street and I live in a greenhouse. That's the address. But I still got problems. But you know where I live because I told you the address. See, people heard that kind of crap before. They're saying they're not paid. Did they get paid yesterday or the day right after?
We
Did
still
they get
don't
their
know.
money? Well, see, this
We
is the
still don't
problem.
know.
You listen to the crappy response from the minister. That is utter nonsense and foolishness. Has the problem been I keep asking the Bahamian people, what major national problems has the government of Bahamas solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved. I can't get an answer. You mean to tell me you don't know? Go ahead, Brother Hyla.
Professor, you always teach us to listen to what they say.
And watch what
But
they do.
watch what they do. The one thing that I did not hear in that clip that you played was that the nurses were paid.
No, they just
I did not.
about, they only know where they live. They're talking about address.
Yeah, they say the matter is being addressed. The matter is being addressed. They got the letters now, Professor. We got to be fair. They're asking for 2 things. They were asking for their letters of being fully hired. They're asking for letters and they're asking for their back pay.
Okay, stop right there. You heard about letters. We don't know what's in those letters. I could give you a letter with a blank statement in there, which has nothing to do with the issue, but you got a letter in your hand. signed by whoever. That means nothing, Mr. Hyler. Absolutely nothing. And she said 10 of them got letters. What were in
10 of
those
them
letters?
got letters.
What were in the letters? You see, all you do is listen to the crap coming out of the minister's mouth. And this is what they do all the time. I keep saying to the Bahamian people, where are the national problems being solved by the government of the Bahamas? Where is it? The doctors, I understand, ain't get straight yet. The teachers ain't get straight yet. Yeah, they may get a piece of paper in their hand. But what's in the letter? What does the letter say?
And the police for the COVID work, the last report we had, if I'm not mistaken, the police have not been paid.
Okay. But I believe my producer's telling me I have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Cesar, good afternoon again.
Yes,
Cesar, I understand what nurses this is because, Cesar, I know a friend of mine. She was a nurse, and she was on half pay. And when she get confirmed to be a fully nurse, Cesar, you know what they get? They get like, I guess this just fair use education only. This ain't confirmed. She get like $20,000. I want all my family to go sign up for the nursing. But I didn't know what part of nursing he talking about. But if this the nurses is be on half pay, till you get that firm letter, and you getting that. Man, when she tell me that, I was shocked. Now, Professor, I know what part in the nursing they in. But if there's some junior nurses them, and they get their letter fully being nurses them, I shouldn't be saying it. I should not be talking to people business. But they getting like the 20,000 cash. I could be wrong, but I don't know what part it is. But Professor, that's how that works. I know what part they on. If they are fully nurses but if Professor, I only know for the junior nurses.
Yeah, but hold on, caller. They have different grades of nurses now.
Oh, yeah. But I know what a big set of nurses. I know what that.
This particular personality, is this involved with that crew the minister talking about?
I know, but Professor, I only know the junior nurses. Because I was talking to one, like when they just learn the training. When they train to be a full nurses, they get the half pay. And Professor, when you see they get that letter. Man,
but what does the letter see? We don't know what's in the letter.
No, we can't talk what's in the letter. That they're getting that $20,000 or $10,000. Man, you be fat.
But caller, we don't know what the letter say.
Yeah, man. Listen, Professor. I talked to someone. I can clear it up for you, Professor. Now, Professor, I know if this a full-blown nurse. I do not know them. I know, but the trainee nurses them. I deal with.
But we be talking about the same set of people who were in training, who went to school. And who
yes, I know about that. I can clear it up for you now.
Did you hear the first tape about the nurses?
Oh, well, I hear that, but I know that one. I talk about trainees. The trainees,
but they've been in training. Caller, they've been in training.
They don't know. They might don't know. They getting it 20,000 or 10,000. That's the way the system go.
But they ain't get it yet.
When they gonna get it?
When they can get it? Tomorrow?
You can't tell nobody they gonna get their money. If they get their letter, they gonna get their money. And I shouldn't be saying
hold
on the radio.
Stop right there. Letter could say anything.
Professor, listen to me. I know how this goes. Then you get that letter.
But then the point is, they said the minister is saying they got letters the next day, right? Did they get the money the next day?
No, I don't just get the money because
that's what I'm trying to tell you. You could
get
say,
the money.
Hold on,
get
caller.
it.
No.
She didn't tell me that she get it. I ain't gonna lie.
But listen to me. Listen to what the woman say.
Yeah, well, I know what she's saying.
But I just played the tape. We played the tape.
Yeah, I hear that, but I didn't know that was the real June, like the set who trying to be nurse. I didn't know that was. I didn't know what that was. No, I didn't know. I can't talk about that. See, but my pastor don't talk to you what you know nothing about. I only know about Professor, the young lady who nurses I used to carry around. And man, when she get that, say, boy, she give me $100. Say, I need you no more. She buy a brand new car.
Yeah,
that's what I know about.
This is someone.
I know about that.
Yeah, but this is someone in the past who got some benefit, right?
Yeah, I know.
Not with this current group.
I can't talk about that. Okay, I only can talk about what I know about.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fair enough.
All right.
Well, thank you for your call.
Yes, sir.
Brother Hiley, you heard what the caller said.
Yeah, I heard the caller. He was making reference to somebody that he knows, and
Yes.
he wasn't sure if they were like a graduate or a long-term nurse. But
But these people are graduates. They said they went to school.
yeah,
I think they were waiting from 2023. Is that right?
that's correct.
Okay. So I'm saying to you, the minister's saying they got letters the very next day. We don't know what's in those letters. But did they get the money the next day? All we hear is your address. I live on North Street. That's my address. That can't do nothing for me because I still got the problem. I'm still on North Street, but I got the problem. Ain't solved yet. You understand me, Brother Hyler?
I understand.
Okay. But anyhow, continue.
See, Professor, why are we allowing our own nurses to leave and go perhaps to Canada, and then we need nurses and we go
Yeah.
to Ghana? Why didn't we
It
just
doesn't make
take care
sense.
of our own nurses? As a matter of fact, I have a recommendation. If you want to get new nurse recruits, tell them you can put them up in Breeze's Super Clubs for 3 months and pay for their stay. Tell
12
them
months.
that you're going to give them 3 months in advance pay when they graduate, and watch how many nurse recruits you would have. In other words, do for them what you did for the Ghanaian nurses. Get them 3
No,
months pay
because
in advance and put them up in a
this,
hotel for 3 months.
this doesn't make any sense at all what they're doing. I don't know if the producer has what the minister said, the minister of health. Mr. Producer, if you could find that, I'd like to put that into the show today. But the point is, we heard specifically what the minister said previously. So once the producer could find it, we'll play it again today. But the point is, we heard what the nurses said, we heard what the minister said, but we still don't know whether the problem has been solved.
Still don't know what happened yet.
We don't
But
know. That's what I'm saying.
but
And that's what the Bahamian people.
politics. That's politics, Professor.
Okay, you call it politics, but you're playing with the lives of people, man. You can't be playing games with people's lives. That's a serious matter. Very, very serious. We have to do better than that. Go ahead, Brother Hyler.
Yeah, Professor, we have to do better, and it's happening
No,
in
we're
other
not doing.
areas of the public service. It's like
Hyler,
you
Hyler,
have a
just so
call
you
coming
know,
in.
yeah, I got my producer just told me I got a call coming in. I don't want to keep them waiting. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Harlow, Professor Thompson, how y'all doing?
Yeah, we're doing okay.
This Carolina for people Grandma.
Okay, Candelana, yeah.
So now, what I'm trying to tell you, Professor Thompson, topic you all on, Dr. Harlow, everything coming out Ghana right now, the nurses, the talking with the bazaar, the on the phone, taking the resources, everything coming out Ghana right now. Dr. Harlow, you said yesterday Ghana is a hot topic, true?
Definitely a hot topic right now. Hot topic.
Okay, so now, listen, you have to understand why Uganda is a hot topic, because the natural resources ain't really their own. Because, like I tell you all, Africa is in Arizona, so everything around the world is choreographed. They put it there. It's not the real people who they put there, so they could go and take all their natural resources because they're not the real people of that land. The real people of that land is being misplaced. Them black people in Africa, they come from United States. The United States is the motherland. That's our land. The Americas, all around us. So China is black people owned. Chinese being replaced by black people. We run this world. We run this universe. So you have to understand what's going on. When they go to this country and take their stuff, because they know they set them, the ancestors and the people set them people there. They're not really from there.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution. I don't know what he's talking about, Mr. Hall. Do you get any sense out of what he's talking about?
I heard him, but I do not agree. Simply put, in Africa is the motherland. It's considered the cradle of civilization.
Yes.
Believing that all peoples would have originated out of Africa.
Okay.
Africa is the richest land in terms of natural resources.
Okay.
It is called the poorest land, but it's really not. So that's all I can say on that, Professor. The gold, the diamonds, and Ghana is one of those countries that is blessed with many different types of natural resources,
Yes.
and it is definitely rich in gold.
Okay.
Professor, let me frame this like this. I could frame this very briefly so the listening audience could get an idea. Gold is shipped out of Switzerland. Out of Switzerland. For January, I took a look at it last night. Over 190, almost 200,000 tons of gold shipped from Switzerland to America. But it's not being mined in Switzerland. There are no active gold mines in Switzerland. But yet Switzerland is a major gold supplier. Where are they getting the gold from?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, the way the world is structured, and I have a serious problem with this. And if God empowers me, wherever I reach my hand, I will reach it to extend justice. And it is not just that a European country can have apparently infinite amounts of a precious metal, but then there's all kind of warfare and poverty in the place where the precious metals and the natural resources come from.
That's
And
correct.
you can't blame it on one particular person. But whoever is involved, it needs to stop. So I'll leave that right there. Ghana has taken a position that they are not going to allow any more gold to leave the country. And as I said on the show yesterday, Professor, they arrested one of the persons that were from overseas. An Indian gentleman was arrested because he did not comply with the new law.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens from there. But this you can't have all this poverty and hardship around the world, Professor. So much people have an hardship, and then it's just one set of people with all the money.
That is a problem. That's a very big problem. That's greed and selfishness. Yeah. And this is why it is so important that the Bahamian people recognize what is happening here, because you got some people with some very bad ideas. They have no interest in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have to see them for who they really are. Listen to their words, watch what they do. We have to take action ourselves, Bahamians. We are, according to the Constitution, the inheritors, one, and successors to this family of islands. I think I have to stop right here because I hear the music in the background. Because I want to say some more what I heard another particular personality said about land in those family islands. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Calling all veterinarians
given day when you come into this studio to do the show. And I've gotten used to that now because things sometimes happen when you least expect them to happen. You have to be prepared for anything when it comes to live radio. You just have to be prepared. And I do be well prepared. If I got to make a sudden shift, that's just the way it is, Bahamians. The thing is that we have serious problems in this country, very serious problems. We need a national government that can solve the problems. We don't need people to know where my address is, but I still got the problem. What's the point? You live on Ajax Street, or you live on Burnett Road. That's your address. That's where you're located. But the problem hasn't been solved. It's still right there. We got to do better than this, Bahamians. We need a national government that can solve national problems. And that's why I keep saying to you, what major national problems have been solved by the government of Bahamas over the last 52 years? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved. You can't tell me what one. You can't name one major problem that has been solved by the government of Bahamas in 52 years. What's the point of having them if they can't solve none? What you elected them for to do what? Pay them all that money. Let them squander billions and billions of dollars over that 52-year span. And at the end of the day, all we get is a bunch of crap. People rowing and carrying on all the time. People pointing fingers at one another. People being stressed out. And the Constitution says no man, woman, or child shall ever have their lives frustrated by deprivation. That's what the government is doing, Bahamians. It's a direct constitutional violation. You ain't supposed to have 1 centillion of stress on your head. It's unconstitutional. And many of you don't even know that because you don't study the Constitution. And there are so many other things that we can deal with the Constitution. So I got to take it one step at a time. You know, I always quote Article 24:1, which gives you the power to do what? To organize yourselves to protect your interests. Do you have any interest in this place? Maybe you all ain't got none, but I do. And the word interest is plural, more than one interest. I got more than one interest. The protection of the Constitution is one. That's why I'm involved in that fight. And there's some other things that are happening in the country, and you people just sit on your backsides. You don't take no kind of action whatsoever but to grumble and complain, and you do nothing. After the grumbling and complaining, then what? That's why I tell you the talk show is only a tip of the iceberg, Bahamians. A lot of work has to be done outside of the talk show, on the ground where you are. And I told you from July the 8th of last year, I said, give Professor 18 months, just 18 months, to solve one major constituency problem. That's all the time you need. One. And you still around here sitting up with your mouth pinned up. But you got to be organized. See them people sitting in all that slop for 32 years? I mean, when they going to wake up? When they going to have sense? Something has to be wrong with your head for you to sit in all this slop for 32 years. Now some other people are getting the same problem that Pinewood Gardens has been going through for more than 32 years. And they're wondering now what they can do. Where the ground is getting so saturated, it's going to weaken the foundation, it's going to weaken the walls, it's going to weaken the roof, and at some point, that building is going to come crashing down. You can wait till that happens. We have limited people in this country, you know. We ain't got millions and millions and millions of people. They slaughter 10,000. You don't miss them. The numbers are small. So every time when one is killed, you feel it because that's one we ain't got. And you see the wild nature of the young males in the society. Some people call them young men, but they're young males. They ain't no men. I can tell you that right off the top. Men do not behave like that. And I don't even know if they all Bahamian. See, that's the thing again. They say Bahamian men doing these kind of things. Raping the children, raping the women, killing the girl. Come on, man. Bahamians just do them kind of thing. Where are the real Bahamians who are standing up against this foolishness? And you keep hearing about it over and over and over and over again. Let me stop right there. Mr. Belusi, you could play the tape.
Will be fired on January 19th, 2026 if the nurses go to the polls and say they do not want Miss Lightburn.
So what's the misunderstanding about it?
The misunderstanding about is there's some persons who can't take losses. You're bitter. After 2 years, you still bitter? Come on. I don't worry about that.
You say, so who's being better here?
Who you think is being bitter? Tell me who's being bitter. I have an issue. My Secretary General has an issue with me. The former president has an issue with me. But that's cool because they are 2-3 persons, 2 nurses. And I don't run on with them because while they may have their bitterness towards me, I am still the president of the Nurses Union. And I don't want to have a position where if they need me to represent them, they feel like they can't. I don't have anything against them. They're members of the Nurses Union.
That's very interesting what the president has to say. And I want to comment on that because when you're in a leadership position, one must exercise caution and restraint. You can't be buddy-buddy with people because they take your relationship for granted. Now, there are some people who can't take their losses, so I agree with Madam President. And they have a bitter attitude because they lost. They should be happy they lost. They should be congratulating the president on winning the election because you see, in elections, you're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. That's just the way it is, Bahamians. If the people vote you out or don't want you, that is their choice. The same happens in the general election. The people will go to the polls. Well, now some people ain't going. They say they ain't going because they have their reason for not going. Let me just say this. When it comes to parliamentary representation, we don't have good parliamentary representation. We have party personalities sitting in parliamentary seats in the Senate and in the House of Assembly. That's what you have. Many of them, the vast majority of them, know nothing about the Constitution. They're just representing a party. When you give a particular party a massive landslide of seats, as you did in the last 2 elections, you know. Oh, we have a caller. Hal is still on. Okay, Brother Hal, I can come into you. I'm glad Mr. Producer told me because sometime I may run on. I always tell him I could go on till the man come back. Brother Hal, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem, Professor. You know, I was disappointed to hear the lack of unity among the nurses.
Yes.
The top leadership, the president and, Secretary General. You know, you have to bring a united front. You have to be on one accord. And, there's 2 sides and sometimes more of every story. I only heard the one side. I did not hear from the other parties involved. But you do need to speak up. You know, even though you were saying, Professor, that in the case of the nurses that protested, we still don't know if they were paid.
No, we don't.
But when you speak up, you set the wheels in motion. If they were not paid, then perhaps they need to go out again and protest. They got letters. They wanted to get these letters, and like you said, we don't know what's in those
We don't
letters.
know what's in the letter.
But at least something.
Whoever signed it could just be saying, "Have a nice day" and hello to you.
Understood.
That's a letter, you know.
Understood. But it's too much. It's too much silence. You know, it takes 2 years or longer for persons to come forward. The president of the nurses union, when asked why she feels like the nurses are being treated that way, she said because the nurses continue to do what they have to do. The work is still getting done.
Yes.
They show up to work. 1 year passes. They're still not, addressed. They're not paid. Then it turned into 2 years. So
Yes.
the question becomes, how long should you wait? And
That's a good question.
more than the nurses, I'm really disappointed in the majority of labor leaders. This generation of labor leaders are the weakest generation of leaders we've ever seen. They're tolerating abuse. You can train somebody how to treat you, And if they act crazy and abuse you, you could hold your head down, put your tail between your legs, and you sending a message, abuse me again.
Yes.
No, you have to speak up and speak out. And then you'll change your behavior, and then you can change your circumstances.
Okay.
They need to go back and listen to some of the works of Sir Randall Fox, the father of labor. They need to understand what they went through and how they addressed the situation.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Yeah, the thing is, the labor leaders of today, 2025, don't seem to have any substance. Because what I've been hearing them is give out a little statement here, a little statement there. That's not going to help the situation. They need to be constantly on the move to have problems solved. If you take action against the government of the Bahamas and is within confines of constitutional law, I don't see why any court should tell you, but you go back to work, because I ain't going back to no work, because ain't nothing solved. You've been through all of that. You go back to work, you ain't take out no injunction against the people who took injunction against you. You crawl back to work and you're still suffering. So what kind of crap is that? To me, it doesn't make any sense. You've got to take harsh measures against this kind of foolishness. We do not have people like Sir Clifford Darling, Sir Randall Fox, Clarence A. Bain. See, you probably don't know those people because they existed before their time. You got people who are in key positions in this country who didn't exist when we became an independent nation. Do you know that, Brother Hyla? People got plenty mouth. All they hear is what somebody tell them. They didn't live it. Wasn't even born yet. So all they could do is get what somebody tell them what happened. And I'm not necessarily against that as long as they tell them the truth. The point is we need to be upfront and honest with one another. Where's the integrity? Where is the commitment for change, for improvement? They always say they're working for the benefit of the people. Where's that? I don't see any benefit.
Professor.
Yeah, go ahead. But
when you say work for the benefit of the people, BPL still don't know what's going on with their pension money. They don't know who is responsible. whether BEC, BPL, or Pike. They don't know who is responsible for their pension money.
Plus, you could add another 5 companies for New Providence, and I think they got some they found in the Family Islands where the government has signed agreements with these different companies. I don't understand why we need all these different companies to provide light for New Providence 21/7 when BEC was doing it for decades. What's the change? They ought to find out what has happened to the pension money. That's where the labor leaders come in. Let me make sure I get it right. Labor leaders come in. But I just don't understand them. How they get like this?
I know just how they get like this. Instead of dealing with the Constitution, they talking about heads of agreement, what they signed with the PLP before they came into power.
The PLP is a political party. The PLP party is not the government.
Yeah, but that's what Obie Ferguson came to the Bahamian people and say he had an agreement with the political party. You don't think he know better than that, Professor?
Well, he ought to know. He's supposed to be a man of labor. I should think so. But then we got to go by what the man say. Just look at what he's saying and watch what he does. So I'm saying he ought to know better. I have the highest respect for him. But then at the same time, if that's what the man say, that's what the man do, then we have to say, that's what he said, that's what he did. We can't change that. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Now, what's so shocking to me, and we've said it before.
Yes, sir.
He's a lawyer. Queen's Counsel now they calling it King's Counsel, but we don't see that in the Constitution.
No, it's not in the Constitution.
But he is a lawyer of the highest order. All I'm saying is, why aren't you talking labor law?
Okay.
I have not heard one labor law statement from Obie Ferguson. So now you have thousands and thousands. Now there's an umbrella union. You know that, Professor. There's an umbrella union.
Umbrella union, yes.
And I hesitate to say this. The strongest labor leader in the country. Some people may not like her, but that's saying Belinda Wilson. That's the closest we have to a Clifford Darling, Sir Randall Fox. It's the closest thing. Just stand your ground.
Okay, I hear that. And she has an umbrella union too. She has a group of unions under her umbrella union.
See, some people may not like her. You have to look at the results.
You can't go by who you like now. You got to go where you're getting results. Because that's why I'm saying I have a problem with the government of the Bahamas. I asked the question about national problems. I can't get an answer. Nobody could point to national. I said it about the police. Nobody's been able to say anything. What major crime problems have they solved? You ask about the constituencies where the representatives are supposed to be representing the people. What major constituency problems have been solved? No one can answer these things. So what are you electing them for? To do what?
Right.
They're spending billions and billions and billions of dollars over the last 52 years. And what have we got for it? Just a bunch of problems? People getting rich? I think I had the music. This is Professor.
The Bahamian workers are being treated poorly. That's my statement for the day. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Mr. Bruce, I hope this is not the last part of the show. Oh, we're going into the last break? Oh, this is the end of the show. Oh, I didn't even get that. Sorry about that. Audience, I apologize. I did not know we were coming to the end of the show. Maybe the producer did indicate to me, but I didn't get it. This is Professor Sidney McGarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Thank you very much for participating. Brother Hyler, we appreciate your contribution. and those who called in and made their comments. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. I'll be on tomorrow. Have a pleasant afternoon. Be safe. Pray and ask God to help us in this crisis. Have a pleasant afternoon.